But it wasn't, because the story was more about his murder than about him. But I do hope that I portrayed him in a truthful, balanced way, and that was because I spoke to a lot of people who knew him and who were around him. People like Dominic and Sally, people like Andrew Minard, his butler. I really wish that his wife Ingrid had spoken to me, because I always think that the person who knows the man the best is always the secretary and the wife, and I got the secretary. So I just think that her story would have been a genuine account of who he really was. For me, I'm not their friend, and there have been overtures at friendship from them, and for me, I've always been very clear, I'm not your friend, we've got a professional relationship, but at the same time, I needed to earn their trust. And I can't earn anyone's trust as a journalist by being cold and distant. So I had to build up a relationship with them, but they at the same time know that the minute that they step out of line, I'll be the first person to report about it. And it's happened now, where Mikey's been in and out of court recently, and I'm there and I report about it, and he gets irritated with me, and he phones me and shouts at me. It's a hilarious story, actually. He was on the front page of the Saturday Star, and I was in this really upmarket nail salon in Joburg, like a really quiet nail salon, where people don't really go a lot. And I was sitting having a manicure and a pedicure, and Mikey Schultz walked in. And he just happened to be in that shopping centre. He walked past, there was a glass window, and he walked in, and he started screaming and shouting, not at me, but about the Saturday Star, I think it's the Cape Argus article that had been written about him. And all of these women in the nail salon just looked at me. I was like, you have to get out, please. So, I mean, there is that fine line. But they are very aware of the fact that it's a professional relationship. And you ask if I sometimes am at risk because I know too much. They don't tell me anything they don't want me to know. The truth is, my book was never about Brett.
No, absolutely.
And a lot of people wanted to know more about the business shenanigans, what was going on in his collapsing empire. And I'm not a financial journalist. It was never my intention to write about that. There are two very extensive chapters about it, where I spoke to people who did analyse all of that. But for me, that was never the story. I mean, obviously, that is a crucial element. And if he had himself killed, then he'd go down looking like a hero, firstly, because it would look like a hijacking, and he would have been killed. He wanted to look like a martyr for the country, according to Clinton Nassif. And then also, of course, is the fact that he didn't want to leave his wife and kids with any of that legacy. And the truth is that Ingrid Kebble received a massive life insurance payout. And before the revised edition of the book came out, I've been asked this question so many times that I went to the two life insurers to get an understanding from them about why they paid out. And both of them, the one paid 30 million, the other paid 10 million. Both of them paid out because they felt that there was no reason not to. But then, of course, if you speak to Guy or Roger Kebble, they are adamant that there is no way that Brett Kebble would have had himself killed. They insist that this was a murder, that he was knocked off. They are adamant, and Dominic and Sele, who was the last person to really see Brett alive, besides his butler, says that Brett could have found a far more elegant way to do it. I've never been asked that question before. The question was, do we pay the police for the information? Thankfully not. No. We don't pay anyone for information. What's the latest on John Stratton? I actually don't know. He has been so quiet. Before the book came out, he was my biggest concern legally. Because we sent him chapters of the book and we got a lawyer's letter back, basically saying, it was a very bizarre letter. It was basically saying, if you publish like this, we'll sue you, but we won't really sue you. Sad for me is the fact that had it not been for Shake, then Jackie Sleevey probably would have actually been released on medical parole because he genuinely is sick. But it can't happen now because people just cry Shake. But when you look at a situation, and I spoke to Gay Nagliati about this, I said, do you regret anything? do you regret bribing the National Commissioner? And he looked at me like I was mad. He said, regret? It was a gift. He says, I still do it. He says, I do it every day. Metrocraft call me over, I give them a gift. Like, that's genuinely how he looks at it. He got away with bribing and corrupting the National Police Commissioner, and there's no remorse because he says, it's just a gift, I do it every day, we're all good. Glenn Aguiar is probably on the golf course because that's where he spends a lot of his time. He's in Joburg. He does a lot of work in Singapore. He's a deal broker. You know, he flies between here and Kuala Lumpur, and he negotiates deals between people. I'm still not exactly sure what he does, but that's it. You know, he skims a bit off the top and takes a commission. He tweeted 2 days ago about how much he hates my book. It was interesting that he took so long to read it, and interesting that I gave him a copy of it before it went to print, and he told me he read it then, and then he tweeted this week saying about how terrible it was, which is fine.
One gutsy, wonderful lady.
Yeah.
Very few books of Kelly and Kebble at the table over there, and Mandy's going to sign it for you, and she will be there at the Wordsworth table if you want to ask her any more questions. One of those books is mine.